Black Agnes, the irrepressible Scottish woman. The conflict between England and Scotland had been going on for several decades. The English had suffered many heavy defeats. But in 1338, under the command of the Earl of Salisbury, they returned to Scotland, determined to defeat the Scots once and for all. After capturing the town of Berwick, the Earl and his army marched to Dunbar Castle, a mighty fortress standing between them and further conquest. On the evening before the attack, the Earl of Salisbury stood before his men and spoke in a powerful voice. "Victory over the Scots is within our grasp. We attack at dawn. The conquest of the castle will not be difficult, for its lord, Patrick Dunbar, is fighting far in the north with his army. His wife and a few household guards are all that stand in our way." As the soldiers retired to their tents, the Earl stood alone, gazing at the castle. It stood tall and unyielding, an imposing stronghold of stone. Inside, Lady Agnes Randolph, known as Black Agnes, watched from a narrow window. Her long black hair cascaded over her shoulders, her green eyes sharp with determination. She whispered to herself, "My husband is far away, but I will not surrender. This castle is my home. I will defend it for Scotland and for our king." At dawn, the English army gathered before the gates. The Earl of Salisbury stepped forward and called out, "Lady Agnes Randolph, Countess of Murray. Surrender yourself and the castle, or we shall take it by force." Without hesitation, Lady Agnes appeared on the ramparts and answered boldly, "This castle is mine to defend. It was given to me by the Scottish king, and I will fight for it." Enraged, the Earl gave the order to attack. His men pushed forward massive catapults, launching heavy boulders against the castle walls. The stone trembled, but the walls held firm. Between the bombardments, Lady Agnes and her maids appeared on the ramparts in their finest dresses. With white handkerchiefs, they dusted the castle walls where the stones had struck, mocking the English attack. The Earl was furious. "She is making a fool of us," he roared. "Bring up the sow." The sow was a huge battering ram, protected by a wooden roof. The English soldiers pushed it forward, preparing to smash the castle gates. But Lady Agnes was ready. She called to her men, "Let them come closer. Now drop the boulders." With a great crash, massive stones rained down from the ramparts, shattering the wooden cover and crushing the battering ram. The English soldiers scattered, their attack in ruins. For weeks, Diese, Earl of Salisbury, tried every tactic to break into the castle, but Lady Agnes and her people stood strong. The siege dragged on from winter into spring. Inside the castle, food supplies dwindled. Lady Agnes sat by candlelight, writing letters, desperately calling for reinforcements. "We have little food left, but I will not let this castle fall." Outside, the English army suffered as well. The Earl tried to encourage his men, "Brave soldiers, we have endured a hard winter. But hold on a little longer. They will soon be too weak from hunger to resist." But Lady Agnes and her people had hope. One night, small boats arrived under cover of darkness, slipping through a secret passage beneath the castle. Sir Alexander Ramsay of Dalhousie had come with food and supplies. "You are our salvation," Lady Agnes told him. "Without this, we would not last much longer." The next morning, Lady Agnes stood atop the castle walls and called out to the Earl of Salisbury, "Earl of Salisbury, today I open my gates not to surrender, but to bring you a gift." The English soldiers watched in confusion as a small linen-wrapped package was placed outside their camp. When the Earl unwrapped it, he found fresh bread and fine wine inside. He turned red with rage. "This woman makes a mockery of us again. But she will regret it. Bring her brother here at once." Days earlier, the Earl of Murray, Agnes' brother, had been captured by the English. Now, bound and under guard, he was brought before the castle. The Earl forced him to call out, "Agnes, dear sister, If you do not surrender, the Earl will kill me." A heavy silence fell over the battlefield. Standing between the turrets, Agnes raised her chin and called down, "Earl of Salisbury, kill my brother if you must. He has no wife or heirs. If he dies, I will inherit his lands and his title. I will be the next Countess of Murray. Kill him! Kill him!" Her laughter echoed across the battlefield as she turned her back and walked away. The Earl of Salisbury was stunned. He looked at the proud and unyielding woman on the castle walls and muttered to himself, "I have never seen such a woman before." Then, he made his decision. He lowered his sword and let Agnes' brother go. After 5 months of failed attacks, the English army was exhausted. Morale was broken, and the Earl of Salisbury knew he had lost. On June 10, 1338, the siege of Dunbar Castle ended. The English army packed up and left in defeat. Inside the castle, Lady Agnes ran to her brother and embraced him. That night, she and her people feasted and celebrated their victory. The Earl of Salisbury later wrote a song about Agnes' bravery and wit. Today, Lady Agnes Randolph is remembered in Scotland as a true heroine. Black Agnes, the woman who defied an army.